the ones that matter. There's 4, and that's all we get. And, so, and all these other beautiful people out here. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's approved. Okay, we're going to, for his debut appearance for the pre-council, let's bring up Sam from inspections. Come on up, Sam, we're gonna grill you. Yeah.
We've got 3209 7th Street this evening. Mr. Bugs is the owner. He's done a lot of great work on it, and we'd like to give him a 90-day extension.
All right.
Oh, wow.
You've done wonderful.
Yes, sir. He's doing good and
Wow.
working with us.
So you want to give him, 90?
Landing.
Yes, sir. I'm making it easy on y'all this evening.
So that's good. Sam, where did you come from from the city to here?
Wisconsin before this.
Wow.
So that's why you might be hearing my voice a little bit.
What part?
Eau Claire,
Okay.
our east of the Twin Cities,
Okay.
Minneapolis, St. Paul. So,
So I just talked to a guy from Madison earlier today.
yep, there's lots
So
of them.
are you ready are you a Badger fan?
No, I graduated University of Alabama. So
Okay,
I graduated
okay.
2020. I'm really hoping new coach doesn't try to fall. It's a lot on the
It'd be hard to go home, wouldn't it?
line. It would be. I wouldn't do it, but
Because I know you're a Green Bay fan.
we gotta be.
Gotta be a Packer.
So can't go for the Vikings. I mean, not winning anything.
Okay, any questions for Sam? So we'll get 90 days on that. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Alrighty, Mayor Maddox.
I don't have anything, but we do have one issue for executive session.
Okay, alrighty. Any other department comments, announcements today? Okay. All right, Mr. Holmes.
Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon.
We have quite a bit of things on the agenda today. I think we had a big project last week, and our friends in the water and sewer department are purchasing things from people with difficult to pronounce names again, so we can all enjoy that. I will start at the top of page 2, where you'll be authorizing a contract with Polygon Inc. and declaring a bid law exemption pursuant to Alabama Code 4116 51B7. This is a total not to exceed $300,000, and this is a budget purchase that comes from our water and sewer department.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes, what page was that?
That was pages 8 and 9. I'm not sure I said that. On page 10 and 11, you'll be authorizing a contract with Morrow Water Technologies and declaring a bid law exemption pursuant to Alabama Code 4116 51B6. This is a total of $50,718.01. And this again is a budgeted item for water and sewer. On page 12, you'll be authorizing professional services agreement with Evidence IQ. This is a total not to exceed $22,499 came through the projects last week. On page 13, you'll be authorizing a professional services contract with Red Point Audio LLC. This is a total not to exceed $50,000 and came through the projects last week. On page 14, you'll be authorizing amendment number 2 to the professional services contract with Chambliss King Architects LLC. This is a total contract amount of $718,290, and again came through the projects last week. On page 15, you'll be authorizing a professional services contract with Tyler Technologies Inc. This is a total not to exceed $12,525, and came through the projects last week. On page 16, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a professional services contract with Warrior Security LLC. This is a total not to exceed $10,000. Again, was in the projects last week. On page 17, you'll be authorizing a professional services agreement with Electric Machine Control Incorporated for the Fletcher Lift Station 77 SCADA panel project. This is a total not to exceed $36,185. And again, was in projects last week. On page 18, you'll be authorizing minor public works contract with DSL Electric. This is a total of $8,197 and was in projects last week. On page 19, you will be authorizing a minor public works contract with DSL Electric. This is a total of $8,214. These are for two. This is a different lift station than the previous one, and it was also in projects last week. On page 20, you'll be authorizing the purchase of equipment, supplies, services from Train. This is a total of $11,430, and it's for a 7.5 ton HVAC split system. It is a previously budgeted purchase. On page 21, you'll be authorizing the purchase of equipment, supplies, and services from Hydra Service. This is a total of $19,780, and is also a previously budgeted purchase. On page 22, you'll be authorizing the purchase of equipment, supplies, and services from Hugo Vogelsang Maschinenbau, or the closest I think I can get to it. This is a total of $10,700, and again, is a previously budgeted purchase.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes,
I need some education. When we talk about these items being previously budgeted, what does that mean? Does that mean, and I'm asking because obviously we have the capital projects budget in front of us. And one of the things that we take into account in that budget is that's not some final approval, that is a planning document to get money available for projects that we think might happen. What does this mean? Like the first one was, I don't know, a big one, and then there's several little ones. What does previously budgeted mean? Does it mean it was in the capital projects budget, the operating budget for water and sewer, or it was on a previous year's budget that was approved?
and I may lean on my friends in the clerk's office.
You can lean on any of them you like to.
Because these don't actually come through, the resolutions for these don't come through OCA the way other things.
Okay, Mayor, what's the appropriate, is it OCA or A&F who?
Well, I would lean on A&F, but there are some, within different budgets of the departments, there are some items that can be purchased that do not require any approval by the city council, as long as it meets the city ordinance and the city's ability to purchase it. And the city does not, you correct me if I'm wrong, has to enter into a contract.
The city doesn't what?
Has to enter into a contract. So
So,
turn it over to Ms.
sorry,
Standard.
within city code, there are different designated requirements for approval for purchasing, for expenditure for purchasing. One of the approvals for certain types of equipment is that it has to be approved in a line item piece of equipment basis.
A line item piece of equipment, what? Basis.
And so if we do not present to city council each individual piece of equipment when the budget is adopted, then we have to come back and say, we're purchasing this one piece of equipment. Now, if we present a budget to you, and within that budget, we also present at the exact same time to say, we're setting this budget, and with this budget, we're gonna be buying all of these trucks, then we don't have to come back to you for every single truck. But if we just say, hey, we're putting aside this equipment budget to buy, let's just say trucks, and we then say, okay, now we know we can buy 20 F-150s, we have to come back to you and say, we can buy 20 F-150s.
So for example, in this year's capital budget proposal, under water and sewer, there's 300,000-ish, and I believe it says vehicles and equipment, is that?
Yes, sir. So we will.
So that, we will see that again on a more specific approval basis, correct?
Unless when we put the budget revision before you, we also denote every single piece of equipment we would buy with that 300,000.
Which budget revision?
Whenever we set the budget for them, the 2022B revision that will come.
We specified which particular vehicles.
Okay, so in this case, on page 8, the 300,000, which is exempt from competitive bidding.
That's a contract though, that's not buying equipment or supplies.
Probably chemicals.
Yeah, this is our polymer, at the wastewater plant, and this is a chemical, and it's funded in our operations budget. So it's coming, this one's coming to you because we do a contract, we do an annual contract with them every year.
And
So
that's,
that's what this one is. The
Okay.
other items
All right.
are equipment purchases, whether most of them are gonna be pumps, different things, as they fail or need replacing, or we swap them out due to routine maintenance, but the reason they don't have contracts is because we install the pumps. So we're just physically ordering the item, and when it comes in, we install it. If they installed it, then we would have professional services contracts with them as well. But so all of these items that say previously budgeted, all of these are funded out of our operations budget, but they're not specifically listed as individual items. So these are coming out of like our repairs and supplies account or our
Okay,
capital
I
repair
think I
account.
understand that part, and I am embarrassed that I'm asking this question after however many years it's been, but there's normally maybe one every month or two, and it seemed like there was a proliferation of them today, and it just occurred to me, what's the mechanism between budget, planning document, by execution?
So it will really depend on the actual piece of equipment. There are times when certain things are not available on bid lists or on, state procurement availability. So for example, we said that we're gonna, budget 300,000 for them to buy vehicles and equipment. Within that is going to be 2 F-150 trucks and then a slew of pumps. Well, those pumps might be available immediately on a bid list. Those 2 trucks might not be available via a Ford dealership for 6-8 months from now.
Yeah.
So it really just depends on when purchasing activity can actually happen via whatever the piece of equipment is. Now, sometimes we'll set a budget for when things are needed. We don't know exactly what's going to be needed. We don't know that a 30-inch pipe might be needed versus a 10-inch pipe. And she won't know that until something fails within her system. And so when something fails within her system, she knows that she needs it. She will contact the purchasing division within our department. They will then look to see if there's something on a bid list. We will then come back to you at that time because something failed. Not, again, because of availability. It just all depends.
And the mechanism for where they end up and how they end up coming through the council process is dictated by council. Between council rules and code.
Thank you.
I believe I'm on page 23, where you'll be authorizing the purchase of equipment, supplies, and services in a total of $23,072.55. This is for, it looks like several items, including the AMP repairs, IMF retail equipment, IMF retail repairs and supplies, and fire station improvements. Again, that's equipment that was previously budgeted. On page 24, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a grant application for the 2025 Transportation Alternatives Set-Aside Program for the Ash Street Sidewalk Project. This will be discussed today in projects. On page 25, you'll be previously selecting Ward Scott Morris Architecture for professional architectural and related services for the Gateway Improvements Project. This was discussed in projects last week.
Scott,
Yes.
can you back up 1 second on the one on page 24, the Ash Street?
Yes.
Is it on council tonight or like same day because?
It is doubled up on council tonight because council does not meet next week and it has a May 31st deadline.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. On page 26, you'll be authorizing contract negotiations with Volker for disaster debris monitoring services. This was discussed in projects last week. On page 27, you'll be acknowledging the 2023 Municipal Water Pollution Prevention Report to the Alabama Department of Environmental Management. This was discussed in projects last week. On page 28, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a right-of-way permit to Nucor Steel, Tuscaloosa. This, again, was on projects last week. On page 29 through 31, you'll be declaring property surplus and no longer needed for municipal purposes and authorization for disposal. This was on properties on March the 5th. This is the property needed by the state and county for the new DHR building. It did not go straight to council because we've been awaiting them to conduct a survey so we can have the property description that we need for our resolution declaring it surplus. And finally, on page 32, you'll be adopting amendment number 16 to the FY 2024 general fund budget, and that is also doubled up and will be discussed in finance. Any questions for me?
Any questions, Mr. Sutton?
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. Okay, we have projects, finance, admin has been canceled, then we have community development, 5 o'clock. chaired by Councilor Lanier. And council meeting at 6. Special call planning and zoning framework code update, tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Capital projects work session Thursday. Elevate projects in the Doherty room, that's at 1 o'clock. And we'll wrap up at 3, right? Okay, and then City Hall will be closed, and observation of Memorial Day, no council committee meetings next week. And Wednesday, the 29th, zoning board of adjustments will meet, on Wednesday because of the holiday being on the 27th. I will say that I traveled with the mayor yesterday to Shelley Jones' funeral. It was a beautiful service. And, I sat thinking a lot about it last night and spoke briefly with Kathy Randall. And we're gonna see moments moving forward where we're gonna be really missed. She will be so missed. I realize just how much she had her finger on so many worthwhile projects in this community, including a lot of Elevate projects that will be coming up.
I'm gonna see if I can reserve Dr. Randall for my eulogy.
She's a powerful lady.
She did, it was one of the, in all seriousness, it was one of the most powerful eulogies that I've ever sat through. Extremely powerful, extremely meaningful. She was really.
She did, she was, no surprise.
Yeah.
But the music was beautiful, the music was gorgeous, absolutely. Shelley would have been very pleased. Okay,
And you and I wish the Tuscaloosa High School Senior 74 happy 50th.
we did, absolutely, me and Petey.
And Petey.
And Petey, and that was fun. They had over 200. And one thing about that I learned from Kelsey a lot. You know her?
I've met her.
Oh. Reunions are big business, and in this case, we've had, I know mine was last year, and we had so many people stay, for several days and stayed in hotels because they come from so far, but reunions are a big business.
Well, Kip, my 55th is coming up next weekend,
Okay?
and we're staying at nursing homes.
Oh, wow.
Well,
We'll put our EMS.
we got the
Please
best
do.
of those too. Oh, goodness, yeah, so it was great, really great. Okay, is there a motion that we go into executive session?
Move. Second.
Have a motion, second, Mr. Holmes?
Yes, sir. As your city attorney and attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Alabama, I can certify that the following executive session is to discuss security plans, procedures, assessments, measures, or systems, or the security or safety of persons, structures, facilities, or other infrastructure, including without limitation information concerning critical infrastructure, the public disclosures of which could reasonably be expected to be detrimental to the public safety or welfare.
Okay, we have a motion, second, going into executive session, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any